Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales, also known as the fifth Pirates movie, is directed by the director of Bandidas. So once again, Johnny Depp is back as Jack Sparrow, searching for the Trident of Poseidon, because it can break any curse, and they just so happen to need some curses broken. And so that's good that that thing exists. And Javier Bardem is a ghost who's looking for revenge against Jack for something that happened in the past. And Geoffrey Rush as Barbossa is one of the people that can lead him to Sparrow. And now we're all converging and it's a Pirates movie. And the first one I love. It's one of my favorite adventure movies. It was really exciting when it came out. And I remember being in the theater for Dead Man's Chest, being so incredibly pumped, and I mean, people were just so into it, and ever since the first one, they've all kind of gotten consistently worse. And gratefully, 5 is better than the last, I would say. I would say it's an improvement over the last, which some might say really isn't saying much. Compared to the last one, this story is considerably more interesting. There's also a woman in this movie who everyone thinks is a witch because she's extremely smart. And in the time this movie takes place, a very smart woman apparently is just a witch, which gets kind of annoying. At first it was funny, but then it quickly became like a really obvious joke. The joke just kept getting recycled and recycled, where every male character would be like, "Why are you so smart? You must be a witch. Get off my boat, witch." And I'm like, okay, I get it. She's really smart. And Brenton Thwaites' character, he has some history in regards to the Pirates franchise that I don't want to get into, but he definitely has a reason for being there. He's not just like a guy along for the ride. But this kind of brings me to my biggest issue with this movie. Even though all of these characters do have reasons for being on ships together, there's no real sense of urgency. It doesn't feel like any of these characters have any real stakes. There are reasons for all of them being there, as I said, and you do feel a sense that there's something they all have to do, but it's just kind of like they're moseying along through it. And you never really feel like the clock is ticking. The action sequences are fine, but they're too often played for humor rather than excitement, which brings me to Johnny Depp. The first time around, this character was just lightning in a bottle, and it was so surprising. And I've always liked him in this role, even in this film. He doesn't bother me, but in the first film, it felt like he had the reins on him still. They let him go wild, but they said, okay, wait a second. So you got a really intense and unhinged performance, but at the same time, it felt carefully controlled. Here, it feels like he just has 100% freedom, and he's basically just a caricature of a caricature. And we all know what to expect, and he's funny, he's likable. It's definitely his signature role. It's just that there's no real character anymore. It's kind of just the big joke whenever he's in a scene. You don't really feel that sense of humanity that you felt in the first and particularly the second film, which is disappointing because the film actually really wasn't all that funny. There are some good jokes. It's a entertaining looking movie. There's some really fun CG. Javier Bardem is actually pretty cool as Salazar. The CG for him was really awesome. But I just gotta go back to that point. There's just really no urgency in this movie. It doesn't feel like anyone has stakes. It doesn't feel like the movie's really moving along that fast. It feels really long despite being the shortest in the franchise. So that's saying something. The pacing really drags sometimes because there are entire sequences where you're like, is this just so they could like have a joke? Why is this in the movie? I might be coming off a little more negative than I mean to be because I didn't mind this movie. You can have fun watching it. It's certainly a good-looking movie. There's nothing that interesting to the direction, though. It feels kind of like directors imitating other action movies of this nature. There isn't a unique spin to it. Gore Verbinski's first 3 films, even though they were each consecutively worse, they all had a very uniquely Gore Verbinski feel to the way they were helmed. This movie just feels like every other adventure movie you've seen before. There's nothing glaringly awful about this film, but there's also nothing amazingly great. It just leaves you sort of middle of the road. And when the film finally does pick up towards the last 20 minutes, which I actually really liked, and especially the ending, which I loved, by then it's like, okay, I just watched the whole film, and now we're finally getting going here. I'm going to give Dead Men Tell No Tales a C+. I think if you're a massive Pirates fan, you're going to find some things to enjoy, but I mean, it's the 5th one at this point, and we've all seen not so great Pirates movies already. This doesn't really surprise me. I was hoping for better, though. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. Look forward to my Transformers review this weekend. You are the best. If you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.